Hello, hello, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Tony, and I am currently playing Super Mario World, and talking about my life with my ex-husband, who I suspect might be a narcissist, but I am not a therapist or psychiatrist or whatever, and I'm not a doctor in any way, shape, or form. I just play one on TV. So I do not know if he actually does have anything like that, or if he's just this way. But I do suspect he does. He did have some pretty intense childhood trauma. But this is the third video about me talking about this. So I had been talking about how in the very beginning he would like slowly test the waters with like, I don't think I can go down there. He would slowly test the waters with doing things like screaming in my face, breaking a phone because I was talking to my sister. Like he used to get really mad when I would talk on the phone and like things like that. And I would tell everyone immediately what a crazy person he was being. So I think that's why he never got like physically abusive until the very, very end, when he was arrested and stuff. But he definitely, like over time got less nice, and like for a while there we could have fun, we could laugh, you know, we would hang out, we'd watch shows together, you know, sometimes we would you know, just like drive around and listen to music and just like look at houses and like dream about which one we could buy one day. And so, you know, it wasn't all bad, like there were good times, but when he got mad, which he would get mad very quickly, like his temper was definitely what you would call a hair trigger. And when he did, he would just get vicious. And he was not exactly faithful, we'll say. But of course I didn't find out a lot of details of that stuff until, you know, much later on as well. But, you know, there was just lots of instances that, you know, would happen, and, you know, things that were not normal. But the problem is, even though, like, I would tell my sisters when he would do, like, big major stuff, like snapping a phone in half, or, you know, flipping a chair, things like that, I didn't tell them about certain things. Like, I don't know, like it's hard to explain. Like some of the stuff, I don't know if I didn't realize that it wasn't normal at first, or if I just didn't really want to talk fully about what was going on. But there was a lot of stuff that I didn't tell anyone that I definitely should have. Because maybe someone would have told me how completely not normal it was. But honestly, I don't know that I would have left at that point anyway, because I wasn't really ready yet. But he didn't really like to keep jobs. I mean, you know, he would work. He would almost always have a job, but he didn't keep his jobs for very long, if that makes sense. Like he would quit. Like there was a couple jobs that he kept for a decent amount of time, but he would go through jobs pretty quickly. And he was not super responsible with like bills or money or anything like that either. So, you know, there was a lot of uncertainty in our lives. And he would, like, I remember he would tell me that he wanted me to be in charge of the bills, because I would try to work, but he wouldn't be able to handle having the kids. Because here's the thing, like, people always like talk about how I never leave my kids home alone and blah, 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 blah. And I mean, to be fair, I didn't really want to. Like right now, my kids are at their supervised visitation at my mother's house. And might I add, my children are 15 and 11. They are not toddlers. I am twitchy. I don't like that my kids are not with me. That's just the way I am. I mean, yes, I let them go hang out with their friends. I let them go to sleepovers. I let them, you know, do their thing. But I prefer it when my children are home with me. It's just the way I am. But anyway, even like the few times that I did want to do things like go to movies or like when I tried to have jobs, he would not be able to handle the kids by himself. So he would make me quit my jobs. I would have to quit my jobs. And that would have been fine if I was just working because I was bored and felt like working. But most of the time I was working because either he wasn't or his job wasn't making enough. And so, you know, it would get kind of frustrating. But eventually he did get a job that paid enough that it was fine for me to be home. And then, you know, at one point during all of that, I did start watching the kids that I still to this day watch. I've had the same job for 6 years now. And he actually tried to get me to quit that job on multiple occasions. I cannot tell you the number of times he told me that I just needed to quit. I needed to quit watching those kids. They were too much stress and too much drama. And they're toddlers. No, they're not. Like, come on. But he would, you know, he constantly tell me how terrible it was and how I needed to quit. Well, I straight up refused. Like, no, I'm sorry, but these are little humans and I'm taking care of them and nothing you say or do can make me stop. Which, again, was a point of contention, but by the time he was trying to demand that I quit this job, he hadn't worked for quite some time, and I certainly was not going to leave us with no income. And even if he was working, I'm not going to quit my job. You're not even here during the time that I'm taking care of the kids, so what do you care? Anyway, that's not the point. The point is that he would bounce from job to job a lot. And there was some times where he would have to quit his job because he was doing things he shouldn't be doing with coworkers that he shouldn't be doing things with. And either I would find out about it or like one of my friends or family members or somebody who knew me would start working there and he would panic. Sometimes I found out, sometimes I didn't until much, much later. Hold on 1 second. My child just texted me. And, what am I saying? Sorry, my kid just texted me a question and, distracted me. But anyway, so, you know, the job thing. He would bounce, like, I would work and he would try to make me quit and blah, blah, blah. What am I saying? I don't know, whatever. 1 second, actually. Okay, sorry about that. I had to respond to a text from my child. But anyway, I just totally died. But yeah, anyway, so, you know, jobs were not really stable. Honestly, like I said, this job where I watch these kids is the stablest job that this entire family has had, pretty much. But even like the job that I had when him and I first met, even though I made more money than him and I worked there much longer than him, he made me quit that job because when our child was born, he could not, like, he never got any sleep because we worked opposite shifts. So he made me quit the job and take care of the child. And so, you know, he really wasn't, like, it's weird because, like, my kids, like, you would think that they would miss their dad, like, when he was arrested and you know, had to leave the house and all that kind of stuff. But, like, you know, I'd ask them, you know, do you guys want me to try to find a way for you to see your dad? Like, you know, whatever. You know, I know there's a PPO, but I'm sure we can arrange it with one of your aunts or, you know, whatever. They didn't want to see him, partially because they were mad at him, but partially because it's not like he was really present in their lives. Like, he was here, you know, he would sometimes come in the house for dinner. Sometimes he didn't eat at the dinner table. He ate, you know, downstairs in the basement or out in his shed, or occasionally he would eat at the table, but he would get really mad at me and the other kids because we would talk like a lot to each other, and he like felt left out, I guess, or whatever, I don't know. But when we tried to include him in the conversation, he would say really horrible, like racist or transphobic or homophobic things, and that's not really the kind of thing that you want around your kids, you know what I mean? And my kids were not into that kind of thing. My kids are very, very not. I'm sucking at this level. My kids are not like that. Like, I did not raise my children that way. But anyway, so we, I don't even know where I was going with all this. I'm just talking. Like, I feel like I'm just like rambling at this point, and I don't know if anything that I'm saying is making sense. But I know that I hit a point of what I was going to be talking about with him. Give me a minute while I try to remember what exactly it was that my point was with this particular story that I was trying to tell. Right? That was a red one, right? So there should have been a secret somewhere? I don't know what the secret was in that one. Okay, I gotta try to find the secret in this one. I feel like I know what the secret is, but I can't remember. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, okay, I remember what I was gonna say. I remember my ex was, he was, an over-the-road truck driver, briefly. And let me tell you, like, I almost feel like that job might have been perfect for both of us. Even though it wasn't, like, when he first started the job, he was making plenty of money, and, he was making plenty of money, and it was, you know, it was fine, it was good. It was, how do I, okay, wait, can I feel like I need it somewhere else. Oh, shit. Okay. Oh, never mind, forget that idea. I'm pretty sure that one of these is like a, I need to like, okay. I'm not doing good today with my talking or my anything else. But when he was an over-the-road truck driver, it started out okay because like he was making decent money, and the way he had it set up is I would get like X amount, or no, he got I think it was like $200 out of his paycheck for like necessities that he needed like on the road or whatever, and then the rest of it went into our bank account for me, like to pay the bills and stuff. And at first he wasn't making enough money that it worked great. I was paying all the bills on time, everything was going good. But then like slowly but surely, because he didn't come home. He was an over-the-road truck driver for around a year, and he maybe came home once a month, if that. I don't even think he came home once a month. And I think he enjoyed like the single life out on the road a little bit too much. But when he did come home, he would not tell me. He would tell me that he wasn't coming home, and then he would like secretly like come home, and he would like park like far away and then like walk back to the house because he thought he was gonna catch me cheating. So that was like his whole thing. He thought he was like catching me doing something. And of course he wasn't, because I wasn't doing anything. In fact, at that time, I didn't even really have friends. Like, I mean, I did. I obviously had friends, but like I didn't have friends that lived around me and that like I regularly saw. I had friends that I would hang out with every great once in a while, and they were all female. But because I had caught him a few times, because the way our cell phones were set up, this is so funny that like you could even do that back then. Our cell phones were set up so when they rang, like if I called him, it automatically answered every single time. And I can't remember if mine did the same thing if he called me, like it automatically answered. So I would call him, it would automatically answer, and he wouldn't realize, and he would be like saying some things to people that I was definitely not supposed to hear. And then slowly but surely the money started getting less and less. And it was like, I don't know if he was getting more, like if he made it so he was getting more of the paychecks, or if he just was making less money. But it got to the point where the bills were not getting paid, and I had, no joke, I'm not exaggerating, $25 a week to feed my kids. But I couldn't get any kind of like assistance, because on paper we made way too much money. On paper my husband made a ton of money. It didn't matter that I didn't see this money. My husband made it. So that was all, that was all that mattered. So I was literally like barely surviving. I remember I got pregnant with Lucas, with my youngest, right after my husband got like off the road from being a truck driver. And I remember my doctor yelling at me because I was losing weight instead of gaining weight. And it was because my body got so used to me eating like almost nothing that that's what I was still doing for a little while. Like I had to like force myself to go back to eating normally because I was making sure that my kids could eat. So I wasn't really eating. And he never came home. He had no idea what was going on. The kids got so used to not seeing him that by the time he did come back, it was just the default to go to me for everything, because Dad was never there. Like, Dad was not there for anything. Dad was a guy who showed up maybe once a month and would, give me a hat, stay for 24 hours, and then go home. Not go home, leave again. And so, my kids just, they got used to it. And I know he really enjoyed just being able to do whatever he wanted and not really having to answer to anybody. But he ended up getting fired from that job. So I think he probably would have kept it a lot longer. It would have sucked for me. I probably would have, I don't know what I would have done, because I was not surviving. Oh shoot, please, I need this guy. But I definitely feeling that, like, that job suited him because he did not have any kind of, like, home and, like, he could still have a family, but he didn't have the family responsibilities, if that makes sense. And that's kind of like what he wanted. He wanted to have the wife and kids on paper, but he didn't want to actually have to, like, do anything. And I did find out also recently that he told pretty much everybody at the job, the last job that he had, like, before we split up, like the real job. Like, he had some jobs that he worked for like a week or two, but the last, like, actual, like, full-time job that he had, he told everybody there that we were already divorced. Which was really funny to me. But he actually did that at a different job too, but that's because he was having an affair with one of the girls there. So he told everybody that we were split up, and then two of my best friends started working there, and whoopsie. We definitely were not divorced. Anyway, I'm going to end this video here, even though I'm in the middle of a level, because I'm already at like 20 minutes. And I do not remember how to, I don't remember how to get to the secret in this one. I feel like I need Yoshi for it. I don't remember where it's at. Yeah, I don't want to hear it. But yeah, oh my gosh, I will tell you guys some more stories, tomorrow. So let me know if you like these, like, comment, subscribe. Sorry if this one was like rambling all over the place. It's hard to like, I don't know, it's hard to like follow a timeline because suddenly I'm remembering different things and I don't know, a lot that happened. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye!